I ordered the same antenna as Cap from Apt as well. I scanned multiple different televisions in my house and did it, and it did not work. Then I bought a new TV, not because of the antenna, but because I just needed a new TV for the bedroom. And it's a beautiful new television, too. It's awesome.
Can you see it from the love seat that you bought?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Nice.
I got the
right in front of it?
The mount that's a swivel, so I could pull the television out
Nice.
and swivel it over so I could see where I'm sitting on my new couch from Steinhoffel's. And when they were over installing it all and remounting it and doing everything, I said, hey, can you do me a favor? I'm an idiot, and I'm not real technologically savvy. Can you see if you could do the scan for me with this? So, and they put the antenna in a better spot, closer to the window on an extender. They did the scan, and I'm telling you, I could get every local over-the-air channel from like here to Milwaukee to Paducah, Kentucky.
Nice.
But I cannot get CHSN. And I said to them, I go, is this normal? They go, absolutely. Do you know how many people's homes we go to? And they have asked us to do the same thing. And the strength of the CHSN antenna is not strong. And some people are able to get it, and a lot of people are like you where you can't get it.
Yeah.
So now it's available where I could buy it for $20 a month for one team, $30 for all the teams. But again, I choose not to, because if the effort's not there with them, I'm choosing not to do it. When baseball season comes, I may change that. But I've made the choice, and I never will tell you to do the same. This is something that we're adamant about on this show. My mom still goes to the Bulls games. She's been to about 5 this year. They like to go. If you like to go with your family, go. If you like to watch, watch. I'm not calling for you to boycott. But for me at this time, as a kid who grew up going to the Chicago Stadium with my grandfather in the 70s, well before Michael Jordan, well before I was an Artis Gilmore, Reggie Theus kid, Mark Landsberger, John Mengelt. Those were my teams at the edge of Norm Van Leer and Jerry Sloan. And I've always been connected to the Chicago Bulls. I've reached my breaking point. I've reached my breaking point with their want to, and I have chosen this year with a 10 and an 8-year-old that I will not attend a game, even if gifted free tickets. You could put us on the baseline in the front row. You could put me courtside next to the Bulls bench. You could put me courtside next to the Lakers bench or next to one of the best teams' bench. I could sit next to LeBron. I will choose not to go because to me it's an unhealthy relationship for me right now. And so I will not pay to watch Bulls games. I will not go to a Bulls game and spend my money at the United Center on a Bulls game. And judging by our poll question, I'm not alone on this.
I got other options. Like when you make it available via my Comcast system, I'm fine. I'll pay for it. I'll watch all of them. Until then, like I said last night, I watched the UFO documentary. I watched the last 2 episodes of Night Agent Season 2. I watched the last episode 10 of The Agency. I went to bed about 12:30, and I'd watched all the TV I could consume and didn't miss watching the Bulls beat the Nugs.
No.
When you allow me to sit on my couch and find it there via my cable television, and maybe I'm just being stubborn, then I will subscribe and I will watch it. Until then, like, I just don't feel compelled at this moment.
And it's not just the television thing, too. It is their strategy. Like, they have the worst strategy in the league going right now. They are, again, in this spot in the standings where they are 10th, I believe. And if they finish 10th and they don't win the play-in tournament to get into the postseason, I believe then they don't win the lottery and move up, they will lose their draft pick because the draft pick is only top 10 protected for San Antonio. So they are in the perfect spot to accomplish 0 on the season. not being in the postseason and not getting any first-round pick unless they acquire one for a trade. That is the absolute definition of management malpractice, where you say, what are we in it for this year? Are we in it to develop our young core? Are we in it to go all in for 1 year and try and go as far and deep as we can? They don't know what they want to do. They're so dumb, and they not only are they dumb, it would be one thing if they did this one time. They've done the same game plan for 3 straight years. They've repeated this mess. 2 years ago, they didn't have a first-round pick. You know, and what they have to show for their first-round pick, at least Matas, who he played, looks like they got it right with the 6th overall pick.
Well, you finally gave him 20 minutes out there. First time he had 20 minutes of action in the entire month of January, and as I just charted it, he's only played 20 minutes or more 9 times this season.
So when I think we could get any Bulls fan who follows this team like I have through my years, who loves this team, because I've always preached. I think when Waddle and I were put together in 2007, I think Waddle would tell you he was shocked by the amount I've wanted to talk Bulls, especially those early days with the Ben Gordon, Kirk Heinrich Bulls.
Oh, you love your Bulls.
I think you thought we were going to come here and talk Bears every day, and then once I started chopping it up with you over Ben Gordon and Luol Deng and those like try-hard Bulls, you're like, what did I sign up for?
Yeah.
This guy's a lunatic talking
Still
about
are,
the Bulls.
but it's just different guys on the team. No, listen.
But I don't want to talk about them now. I went from that guy to now I don't care. They have shaken me so badly with such malpractice from an ownership and management level where I give up.
Yeah, I don't have the same emotional attachment to the team, but like as you know, I mean, I've been a huge follower of the Bulls and the NBA. But I just don't feel the motivation at this point. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. Sometimes I feel guilty. I'm like, what am I doing? Because as recently as maybe early last year, I was still watching every game. Like this year, I don't know. Maybe it's easy for me to blame them for it, not myself, but like, I'm not compelled. I'm just not. I'm not compelled. If you were going to sit around and watch television, there are many more options right now than there have ever been.
Ever. For entertainment-wise,
right.
Streaming shows.
Exactly. So, like, you're gonna give me a Bulls product as you've described it, as you don't feel like they're even in this for any solid purpose. Why are you going to go out of your way in any way, shape, or form to try to watch them?
I believe the guy running the show for the Bulls is the worst general manager that I've ever talked about on the radio. And there's been bad ones in town. I don't believe I'm stuck in the moment here. Can you name me a worse general manager than AK? A guy he's drafted poorly. Like, what has he accomplished in his 3 years being here? They're on the road to nowhere. I believe the worst days are yet to come because he's simply done nothing. He's done nothing to improve them. He's done nothing to bottom out.
Wasn't the first approach was understandable? You signed Lonzo Ball.
Right.
You signed and traded for, or whatever you did with DeMar.
And you wanted to get out of the rebuild, stuck in the rebuild mode.
Yeah, and until Lonzo Ball got hurt, like I think they were the number 1 seed in the East, right? Like
Right.
It felt like there was a purpose.
Right. They gave up too much for Vooch again.
Yeah, of course.
2 first-round picks, and both of those, I believe, turned out to be lottery picks for Vooch.
But it felt like they were doing something. They were taking swings. They were there, and that enthusiasm for
Then they
that
stopped.
approach.
They
yes,
stopped trying.
went
they
away.
stopped trading. Like there are other teams who will try and get out of what they're in, or at least try and continue to help them. Pat Riley's always trying to find the next guy.
Didn't you feel initially though that they took a pretty good swing?
Yeah, that
and
was
then
a fun season. And
then they just went.
And it's been
they went on
misery.
hiatus.
It's been and just an out of touch general manager or vice president, whatever his title is. He's MIA, completely unlikable and MIA.
I just don't know what's their plan?
Yeah, I don't know. Bruce in Plainfield, you're on ESPN 1000. What's up, Bruce?
Hey, guys. How's it going? Thanks for taking my call. Silvy, brother, I am right with you, man. I refuse to take myself or my three boys to a Bulls game. I just can't do it. I'm 41. I grew up in the era of, I grew up in the different eras of basketball, and I saw the 6 championships. I saw the D-Rose era. I experienced that. I enjoyed it. I had fun. That's what, brought me in to being a Bulls fan. And I agree with you. Now, I have no idea what this management is doing. I have no idea if they're rebuilding, if they're not rebuilding. You're trading pieces. I don't know. I'm so confused. And so with that, I refuse to take my boys to a game. I just can't get behind this organization because I just don't know what direction they're heading into. And it's sad. It's sad because we grew up watching the greatest basketball player ever. We saw Derrick Rose, and now it's just, who do we hang our hats on as Bulls fans? So I can't invest. Well, I have 3, boys. One is 15, 13, and 11. And I want them to experience good Chicago Bulls basketball. But like I said, who do we have? Who can we hang our hat on? Zach LaVine? No disrespect to him, but he's not drawing me to come watch him. And that's not a knock on the players. I'm not blaming the players on this. They're doing their best, but like you said, organization and the management is just so confusing right now, and unfortunately, it's sad. So, thanks for taking my call, Sullivan, and you guys have a great day.
Bruce, thanks. And I think they've gotten to the point where we're getting further and further away from the dynasty. The ticket prices continue to go up. You can't get them on TV, so the kids watching or not watching now really don't have a desire. And, do you want to pay $200 to sit in the 200 level, not even the 100 level, to sit and watch a bad team?
That's $1,000 night for the family of 4.
You parking, food, 4 tickets at $200 a piece. Those, for 200 level, those are good seats. Those aren't the top of the 100 level seats. That's an expensive ticket. When are they going to realize that they've got to reset? Because their attendance still is very high, but it is going down. And again, listen to some of these comments. And again, I don't know what to take literal in Twitter because of all the comments. This is from Chicago Bulls Talk. Life is short. Why invest your remaining hours on an ownership that is borderline scamming their customers? They took advantage of our loyalty for far too long. Only change will come if you walk away. We'll come back once ownership sells. And then he shows me the grid of attendance. The Bulls are 3rd currently in the NBA, 19,822. They used to average 22,000.
They have the biggest building in the NBA, right? Do they still?
Yes.
Do they still have the biggest?
Yep. Michael says, most are boycotting watching Bulls or White Sox until Jerry sells the team. He doesn't care and is the worst owner in sports. Vic says, I used to watch 30-ish games a year. I've watched 0 minutes this year. Jerry doesn't want my business. Rod says, I've been a Bulls fan as long as I can remember, but the club is a mess. I have no idea what they're thinking. They should be selling off pieces and doing a complete rebuild. Then this TV nonsense was the final straw. Jay says, why would anyone want to watch the Bulls? Jerry pockets the money. GM doesn't know what to do with his players, and the coach absolutely stinks. Mike responds by saying he can't get the channel and refuses to pay for it. So he's both. Jermaine says this is the dumbest thing not to get a deal done with Comcast before the season. And then Ricky says, I can't get the channel, and even if I did, I would not watch. Matt says, this is mean. He says, I'd rather watch Uncle Crappy's YouTube channel than the Bulls. Bald guy says, 40 years of watching the Chicago Bulls, and I haven't seen a single game all year. Not buying an antenna. Tens of these comments coming down in real time over. I thought we'd get 1,000 or 2 votes on this because if it's usually not Bears related, we usually don't get. It's over 5,000 votes with lots of comments.
I think I think that the White Sox and the Blackhawks have the same issues right now as well. That fans are they're not going to go out of their way. As easy as one may suggest it is, order an antenna from Amazon, have it delivered, and then install it. I don't think for most people, they're not even interested in doing that.
No.
For all 3 teams.
It's not worth the effort. It's not.